Hello there. It's the chairman of the United States Department of Nerds, where we are for the people, by the people, and of the people. And welcome to the 15th episode of 2025. And on today's episode, I am bringing you New Comic Book Day for the week of April the 9th. But before we get into this week's New Comic Book Day, let me break you down my top five from last week. And coming in at number five, we have Resurrection Man, Quanta Karma, issue one by Ron V, with art by Anand RK. And we had covers by Geoff DeCall and Dan Panesian. And this is the Dan Panesian cover that I love so much of this book. And my number four, coming in at number four, we're going Black Ritual, Book of Knits, issue one. This is by Thomas Neely, art by Nat Jones, and covers by Nat Jones and Jonathan Glampian. This was another really good read. I really enjoyed this. And it's a new entry into the Spawn universe, and I will always enjoy new books in the Spawn universe. And then number three, we're heading to my favorite street, and that's Hyde Street. This is issue five, written by Geoff Johns, art by Ivan Reis and Francis Portela, and covers by Ivan Reis and Danny Mickey, Brad Anderson. This is a really good read. I thoroughly enjoy it. If you haven't picked up anything from Ghost Machine, I highly recommend you pick up some Ghost Machine products and give them a read. Coming in at number two this week, also from Image, I Was a Fashion School Serial Killer. And this is written by Doug Wagner. And we had covers by Daniel Hillyard and Michelle Madsen did the color on it. And Jay Lee and June Chung also did a cover that I picked up. And Daniel Hillyard also is doing the art in this book. And the art in this book is fantastic. Doug Wagner knocked this first issue out the park with the writing. This is going to be a fun series. But let's jump into my number one pick from last week's New Comic Book Day. And I had to give it to Oni Press's Plague House, issue one by Michael W. Conrad, art by Dave Chisholm, and covers by Brian Level and Noah Bailey. This was fantastic. This is redefining the horror genre of comic books, and Michael W. Conrad is knocked it out of the park. With the art by Dave Chisholm, the art is perfect with this book and the writing. Oni Press, hats off to y'all, because y'all are slaying the game right now. Kudos to y'all. Now then, let's jump into New Comic Book Day for the week of April the 9th. This week had 158 new issues and 435 releases overall, which is the smallest week of comic book releases that I have seen in quite some time. But as always, we're going to break this down by publisher, and we're going to start with Marvel like we always do here at the United States Department of Nerds. So let's jump into it. We're going to go to a galaxy far, far away from Marvel this week. And we have Star Wars Jedi Knights, issue number two by Mark Guggenheim, art by Maddie Beck Musabekov, and covered by Raza. In this issue, Yoda and Vecna Mooncrest face the tyranny of Atha Prime. The Jedi face a new threat on a strange, fantastic, and mysterious world, but the planet's surface ruler has a dark secret he wants hidden from the Republic. The first story featuring a never-released Kenner action figure at Atha Prime. This is also a key, with first full appearances of Atha Prime, a second cameo appearance of Corliss Wrath in a hologram, and it's also the first mention of Cortis Wrath. Really dope book. I've already read it this week, and it was amazing. Atha Prime is a force to be reckoned with in this one, and Yoda's always a complete badass, no matter what he's in. Going on to our second book from Marvel this week, and again, we're staying in a galaxy far, far away. And this is really cool. This is going to be Star Wars Volume 1, Issue 1, a 2025 facsimile of the original print. And it was written by Roy Thomas, covered by Howard Chaykin and Tom Palmer Sr. This is a big key, as it is the very first Star Wars comic book produced this isn't it. That would be way too much money for me. I can't afford that. This is the facsimile, just a reprint of the 2020 of the original. This is the 2025 facsimile, and it would have been first appearances by Luke Skywalker, Darth Vader, Leia Organa, C-3PO, Grand Moff Tarkin, and R2-D2, all in this one book. I couldn't let this go. I really couldn't. There was also a foil variant. I did hold myself off from getting the foil variant, which was really difficult for me to do. As y'all all know, I love a good foil variant, but I got one coming up for you here in a little bit. Moving on into our new comic book day, and we're going over to Keenspot, who also, by the way, absolutely slaying the game right now. And up next, we have the second installment of Papa Duke, written by Amy DeLong, art by Gershon Villamore, and covers by Naomi Griffin and Todd Skull. Naomi Griffin is a newer artist for me, and I've started following her on Instagram and all her other platforms, and her art is absolutely fantastic. She also hosts class for other artists, which is really dope, giving back to the community that she enjoys working in. But in this book, Papa Duke is the feared ruler of Bloodworld City and the psychopathic leader of the Knight of the Cadillac Gangs. Now with Cassandra gone, he must find a way to bind Mother Vega to him forever. He does so in the most sinister of ways. He shows her a side of himself that not even Ives or Eves knows, and there's no going back. I'm eventually going to figure out the glare on this camera and how to get away from having the glare. It might have to do with the bag and board, but I'll figure it out. But Papa Duke, last week we got what's the name of the book? The Stitches. So usually we get the Stitches, and then the week after we get Papa Duke, is the way they're doing it seems. But this has been really cool. I'm enjoying the way the Stitches and Papa Duke are going back and forth with each other. So moving on to Darkhorse this week, there's a new number 1, and it is by Mark Miller. So if it's Mark Miller's name attached to it, this is going to be a banger of a book, and it's going to be Vatican City. Look at that dope cover. And this is, of course, by Mark Miller, art by Pierre Berg, and cover by John McCree. In Vatican City, this is the world has been overrun by a vampire apocalypse. Every man, woman, and child are dead, except for the 2,000 tourists safe behind the walls of the Vatican. But as vampires gather in the millions outside, how long can they hold out? Because the monsters can wait forever. Mark Miller produces some fantastic comic book writing. Hands down, one of the best guys out there writing comic books, especially when it comes to horror like this. But this is his new entry. Darkhorse has it with Vatican City. This is going to be another fun one from him. Looking forward to getting into this series some more. Highly recommend y'all go pick that up. Now, I did mention I did pick up a foil variant this week, so let's dive into it. We're going to Oni Press, who is absolutely nailing the game right now. And it's a new number 1, by the way, and it's a Cartoon Network classic. Look at that. Gold foil Adventure Time issue number 1. This is called Best Buds, written by Pendleton Ward, art by Derek Ballard. And this gold foil variant right here is by none other than the David Nakayama. And like I've said before in the past, if it's a David Nakayama cover, go ahead and just pick that up. You might as well. So in this book, it's a brand new adventure, nearly a decade in the making, when Finn and Jake save the newly installed computer princess from the clutches of the evil Ice King. He just wants a bride, okay? Is that too much to ask for? The two escort her back to Computer Kingdom, where she gives our totally mathematical adventurers a new quest: find the powerful guide for heroes. The I ain't even gonna pronounce that. Yeah, I'm not pronouncing that. And bring it back to her so she can scan it for her digital archive. That was a mouthful, whatever it is that they're sending them out to find, and I ain't going to be able to pronounce it. So hopefully I only had to attempt that once. But moving right along, we're going over to Image Comics next. And to do that, we are going to start with Michael Walsh's Comics Pro Retail Summit exclusive ash can for Exquisite Corpses. And this is going to be issue 0 of this book, as issue 1 I don't think isn't due out until like mid-May for this book. And it's, of course, written by James Tynion, so it's going to be fantastic. But Exquisite Corpses here. This is really cool. It gives you a little bit of the story, then it gives you some character breakdowns. And I also know they're working on a trading card game to go with this book as well. I don't know if I'll collect the cards. Maybe. Depends. But Exquisite Corpses is going to be fantastic. Tiny Onion, Image Comics, James Tynion. This is going to be amazing. Can't wait for issue 1 to come out next month. Let's stop by Ghost Machine real quick and visit the greatness that is Geiger. And we're looking at issue number 13, written by Geoff Johns, art by Gary Franks, Brad Anderson on color, Rob Lee's in here, and we got grabbed covers by Gary Frank and Sean Van Gorman. And we are in officially year 2 of Geiger. And in this issue, Geiger comes face to face with the unstoppable power of Ashley Arden, the glowing woman. Can he learn to control his abilities as she has? Or will his growing power doom him and everyone he holds dear? Meanwhile, the custodian has returned alive and more dangerous than ever. But what's his connection to Junkyard Joe? And why is he back now? Secrets unravel and the stakes have never been higher in Geiger. This book is so good, y'all. Geoff Johns and his team over at Ghost Machine are putting in the work every day. And Geiger, issue number 13, was no different. This book is amazing. Ashley Arden, the glowing woman, phenomenal character. Go check out some Geiger. Pick up the first trade paperbacks for it. Give those a read. You won't regret it one bit. Last but not least, we're jumping over to the Spawn universe now. We're going Spawn issue 363, written by Todd and John McFarlane, art by Brett Booth, covers by Bjorn Behrens, Von Randall, and Edward Delandry. And this is issue 363. New threats have emerged from the shadows, with the dead zones returning to normal. Several new power players have shown up on the scene, jostling for control of the demonic underworld. This is a dope cover. All 3 of them this week were fantastic. But that's my recommendations for the week of April 9th. Now, next week's top 5 will probably only be a top 3. It's going to be week to week on whether it's a top 3 or a top 5, depending on the number of books released. But this week, I didn't even get most of my pulls. I'm missing a lot of books this week, and I wasn't able to get those because, of course, distribution sucks right now. So something we all have learned to deal with. But let us know in the comments what y'all are picking up this week and what y'all are reading. We love to know. We love some recommendations if you got recommendations for us. Stay tuned on my other platforms where I'll be releasing the other covers that I picked up this week and what's coming up. I'm going to be working on this particular series a lot more. I do want to make some changes to it, which you've seen tonight with the top 5 that I started out the show with. But I'm going to be making some more tweaks to this series as it continues forward. Hopefully some for the better improvements of the show. Let us know if you would like to see anything a little differently with this new comic book day show that I like to do each week, other than maybe it being on time. But I try. I don't always, do that on time, but it's something I'm working on. The show's, a work in progress. I'm a work in progress, as always. But if you enjoyed this show, as always, please hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Let your friends know how much you're enjoying the United States Department of Nerds, where you too can be a council member by simply hitting that like, share button, and subscribe button down below. And on behalf of myself, the chairman, and your Council of Nerds, this USDN short is USDN approved.